Hey, what's up everybody? Justin with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're taking a closer look at and installing the MBRP Pro Series catback featuring the dual rear exit configuration and polish tips, available for all 2019 and newer 5.7 Rams at home. Now, you guys should be checking out the Pro Series if you're after a head-turning, deep thumping tone, along with an affordable 304 grade stainless steel build and corresponding lifetime warranty. So let's just jump right into the sound clips you guys heard at the top of the video with the MBRP in place. And as I just mentioned, you're going to get some pretty aggressive tone that, in the words of one reviewer, is on the verge of being almost a little bit too loud. Now, to my ears, this is certainly going to be for the Hemi owners out there who want to be heard but not hated. I think that's a big distinction. So what does it all mean? Breaking out my Wake the Neighbor scale, I'm going to go solid 4 out of 5 here on my 1 to 5 or 1 to Wake the Neighbor scale. Certainly no slouch of a system in the volume department, but it's certainly not one that's also going to peg that scale, such as maybe a Corsa Extreme or a Borla Attack might. Now, because of that deeper tone overall, it does have some presence that you will get a little bit inside the cab while cruising, in the typical range, 1800 to 2000 RPM on the highway, but certainly not going to drive you crazy on long trips. But let's take a look at some of the key components and construction here at the Pro Series to get a better idea of where that sound is coming from. And you'll see that you're getting this single straight through, almost bullet style muffler, if you will. And as you might imagine, because it's straight through and because there's not a lot of baffling going on, it's really not going to be doing much muffling. And that's something we did here with those sound clips. Now you're also looking at, with this system, a combination of 3-inch tubing coming into that muffler before it steps down to the 2.5-inch mandrel bent tubing, all exiting out of the large polished tips here, again, in the back or rear of the truck, that dual exit configuration that looks great, of course, on the Rams. Now, again, we are talking about the Pro Series, guys, and what that means is it is in direct relation to the materials used. Now, the Pro Series is going to feature that premium 304 grade stainless steel throughout, as opposed to maybe an aluminized steel build that you'll see with the much more affordable Installer Series. Now, because we are dealing with that premium 304 grade stainless in the Pro Series, corrosion should certainly not be a concern at all, and that's why you are getting a corresponding lifetime warranty with this system and not with those aluminized systems. And with that premium material and lifetime warranty, the MBRP is coming in just north of that $1,000 price point, which certainly does make this one of the more affordable full 304 grade options in the category, at least at the time of this video. Now, installation of most catbacks is going to get a solid 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, including this one, and take you a couple of hours or so to complete from start to finish. But now what do you say we head out to the shop, check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, exhaust hanger removers, penetrating lubricant, an 8mm Allen wrench, a marker, a tape measure, a swivel adapter, 13, 15, and 16mm sockets, and a pry bar.
What's up, guys? Today we're installing an exhaust on our Ram. First, we're gonna watch a quick uninstall video for removing the stock exhaust, and I'll meet you right back here for the install.
First step here, we're gonna grab our hanger removal tool and pop the hanger off right above our resonator on our passenger side tailpipe. The driver's side tailpipe is one piece all the way back to the muffler inlet, so we're gonna attack that later. So for right now, we're gonna do this, and I've lubricated it with WD-40. That makes life a little bit easier. All right, next step, grab your ratchet and your 15mm deep socket, and we're gonna loosen up the clamp holding the tailpipe to the rest of the exhaust assembly. All right, hanger's out of position, clamp is loosened up, let's get this exhaust pipe off. All right, so at this point, we're gonna focus on our driver's side tailpipe. Now, like I said, it's all one piece. I have a pole jack here right behind the resonator just to give it some support once we start disconnecting things. I am gonna remove this tip, however. Removing this tip gives you another foot, maybe foot and a few inches of extra space that you don't have to worry about feeding out of the frame. So we're gonna take this guy off with a 13mm socket. Next, we can pop the hanger out of the isolator using our hanger removal tool right above that resonator. All right, so now we can disconnect the hangers right above the muffler outlet. There's one on each side. Grab your hanger removal tool and get these guys off. Now, as you can see, I have a pole jack here supporting this as well. So we have two different points of support for this exhaust. Now for this one, it's tough to get the hanger removal tool in here, so I'm going to use my pry bar to get this guy off. All right, so next up, we're going to focus on this flange here. Now you could bypass this and go straight back to the cat, but that's a lot of exhaust to take off in one piece, so I'm going to separate it here. Now once we have this taken care of, there is one more hanger to remove, but for now, grab your 16mm socket and disconnect these two bolts. All right, now when you pop this guy out of the hanger isolator, this is all gonna come loose, so you wanna be prepared for that. Before we do so, there's a ground strap here. I'm just gonna disconnect that from the factory tubing. All right, so that way it dangles here and we can reconnect it to our new exhaust later. So now we can grab our hanger removal tool and pop that guy off. All right, now you can take this exhaust off.
Now for this specific exhaust, we do have to remove one last pipe. We're gonna be removing our front pipe. We have two 15mm nuts that are holding that in place. So we'll grab an impact with a 15mm socket to get that out and pull our front pipe out. Now before we install our new front pipe, it's important to note that depending on your cab and bed configuration, you may have to cut this pipe. We have a chart in the instructions with the specific measurements. For ours, we have a crew cab with a 5'7" bed, so we're gonna be cutting this to 30 3/4 inches. So I've got a tape measure and a marker to mark down where we need to make our cut, and then we can take it over to the saw and make the cut. So now we're gonna be measuring from our flange. So we'll grab our tape measure and measure out 30.75 inches. We'll make our mark and take this over to the saw. So now we're over at our saw. I've got our pipe all lined up and clamped down, and we're ready to make our cut. So now with our cut made, we can come over to our grinder to deburr our edges. So now that we have our front pipe cut, we can grab our flange. There's a beveled edge that's gonna go towards the front. So we'll slide that on. And now we can raise this up, get our holes in our flange aligned with our studs, and put our factory nuts back on. And then we'll grab our 15mm socket, get our pipe straightened out, and tighten down those nuts evenly. Next, we can install our extension pipe. So we're gonna grab one of our 3-inch clamps, slip that over the edge, slide our pipe into place, and then get our rod into our isolator. And then we'll get our clamp into place and take a 15mm socket to tighten that down. Next, we can install our muffler. So we're gonna grab our second 3-inch clamp and slide that over the edge. And then we can slide that onto our extension pipe. And then we'll get our clamp in place and tighten that down with our 15mm socket. Next, we can install our driver side over axle pipe. So we're gonna be taking one of our 2.5-inch clamps and sliding that onto our muffler. And then we can raise our pipe over the axle and into our muffler. We'll slide our rod into our hanger and then slide our clamp into place and tighten that down with our 15mm socket. And now we can do that same thing on our passenger side. With another 2.5-inch clamp. And then we'll slide our clamp into place and tighten that down with that 15mm socket. Next, we can install our passenger side tailpipe. So we'll take another one of those 2.5-inch clamps. And then we can raise that up to our over axle pipe. And then we can go back and tighten down our clamp. And now we'll take that 15mm socket to tighten the clamp down. So now we can install our tip. We'll slide this right on to our tailpipe. And then you can adjust this to have as much or as little poke as you'd like. And then you'll grab an 8mm Allen wrench to tighten down that bolt. So now we can do that same thing with our driver's side tailpipe. So we'll take that last 2.5-inch clamp and slide that over the edge. And then we'll connect that to our over axle pipe and get this rod into our hanger. And now we can come back to our clamp and tighten that down with a 15mm socket. And now we can slide our tip on and tighten that down with our 8mm Allen wrench. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the MBRP 2.5-inch Pro Series dual exhaust system with polished tips, rear exit for your 2019 and newer 5.7-liter Ram 1500. Thank you for watching, and for all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.